everybody. I know I missed a couple of days again. It looks like it's going to be that way for the unforeseeable future. I don't know how much longer this is going to go on, but because of all my responsibilities, and yes, I have a bunch, um, caring for another soul and everything else, and taking care of somebody's house, and of course my day-to-day things that I try to do for myself and all those things so I don't lose my mind. This is one of those things, by the way. It's just, as you can see, I don't have a lot of time even for myself right now. So, again, I ask for your forgiveness in that. I'm just going to keep on keeping on, and for those who are meant to hear this, they will. But in the meantime, there's something that's been on my mind because of what I've been dealing with, um, and have probably my whole life. No, I have my whole life. And I know other people have also, especially among the collective, have had similar experiences. And I'm talking about, how, for lack of a better way of saying this, because we've all heard this analogy, that someone's light has a tendency to irritate another's demons, but it doesn't go beyond that in the spiritual realm per se. You fill in the gaps. Um, I heard a couple things recently, as well as I've read something that seems to kind of put it together. That we all know that light removes or overcomes the darkness, don't we? Now, when we're dealing with people who are very, very low vibrational, have no light or very, very little light in them, so to speak, we have a tendency to illuminate the things that, of course, are in need of work on themselves. So instead of dealing that in most cases, because regardless of who they are, how old they may be, and so on and so forth, they could in fact be, in terms of their mental and emotional maturity levels, be resonating on a level of that, like an infant, and that kind of gives infants a bad name. So I don't know what else to say in regards to that. Very, very young and very immature emotionally. So they don't respond in a way that would be, well, edifying for themselves. They get angry, and they take that anger out on you and I. And we can respond in two different ways. We can respond with like versus like, which is the way the majority of people will in some way. Or actually, there's three ways. If you're very empathic, you have a tendency to step back, take a deep breath, and let that go, and you say, um, I don't really understand why they're coming at me like this, but I'll go pray for them, or some such thing. And the third measure is you've already done a lot of this inner work. You searched your soul, and you realize that these people are, well, as I stated, resonating at a different level than you are. So they come at you. You respond perhaps with some level of tactful yet truthful information, in the hopes that they will take that information and utilize it for, again, their own edification. Now, how they respond is not your responsibility. But more often than not, it's been my experience that they don't take it well. And they look at you as being either conceited, somebody who thinks they know it all, and the like. And in your heart, all you've tried to do is help that person. You didn't have to. In the realms of Christianity, there's a saying about casting your pearls before swine. don't cast your pearls before swine. And I pondered that. I had the basic understanding of that most people do when they, are shared that particular verse in Scripture. But when you live it, you realize the lack of, let's just say, the unfruitful acceptance of information. They have to figure it out on their own. And that means that they basically have to be in a state of mind, a state of heart, a state of spiritual maturity, that they are already asking questions and seeking answers as to why things are the way that they are. Why do I think the way that I think? Why do people act or respond the way that they respond? And more often than not, like I said, they're not in that particular vibration. So what do you do? Jesus also said, and I'm quoting Jesus because the majority of people out there in the West in particular are Christian, or they at least have some familiarity with it. So it's easier than to speak the words of Buddha, the words of Krishna, even though they have very similar, ways of thinking in regards to this. So he just said, let your yea be yea and your nay be nay. And I've been putting that into effect lately with somebody who, my whole life, I've tried to help them in some way and wanted them to see who I am, and they never did. And it's disheartening because it's often the very people that are closest to you that you have to learn these very difficult lessons with. And the only reason I'm saying this is because there may be other people out there who are feeling similar and going through similar experiences, and with people that are supposed to be close to you. And keep in mind that although one's heritage is important, and I have to, present that because it is very, very staunchly believed, especially within the Nordic community. And since I'm talking about runes, I basically am coming from that perspective. But I've come to believe from my own life experiences that your real family are those who, like you, have tried to understand the reality of this existence, truly have sought and gone through the painstaking ordeal and the multitudes of obstacles and challenges to find truth in their life. So if you are one of them, you are my brother, you are my sister, you are my mother, my father, my son, my daughter, all of those things. You are my family. Blood is not thicker than water in that regard. And unfortunately, the greatest deceptions, the greatest betrayals often come from those who are closest to us. They say keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. I understand the concept of that. I've read pretty much every piece of military strategy that I can find. I've owned at least 3 different copies of Sun Tzu's Art of War, for example, and many, many others for that matter. But books on that subject matter. But I don't feel that way. We all are searching for a bit of peace in our life. We all need to be able to, one, keep our vibration at a specific level. And we can't do that when you have people attacking you constantly. You can deal with some, you can absorb some, you can try to help where your conscience and your wisdom allows, but others, you just have to let it go. So, I just wanted to share that with everybody before we go ahead and get into our weekly tarot reading, because it's been something I've been dealing with and really trying to understand. I've pondered my whole life, and I know I'm not alone out there. And if you're in the collective, you've gone through similar experiences, I'm sure. So I just want you to know that I understand. And if anybody needs to talk about it, or if they're going through whatever, again, I leave that door open for whoever it is, okay? And I mean that sincerely. Even if you just need somebody to listen to you, I don't need to give advice unless you ask for it. And if I don't know the answer, I don't feel that I should be giving the answer in that regard, I will also let you know that. I try to be transparent and honest with the things that I say and I do. It's just that people that are not vibrating at the same frequency, the same level, they don't accept that level of honesty, of authenticity. And keep in mind, authenticity, or that vibration, is 400 times more powerful than that of love itself. Everybody still believes that love is the highest vibration and frequency, but it's not. Authenticity is, and it's been proven scientifically. So, and you can look that up yourself. Don't take my word for anything, please. So, be who you are, not what you think people around you want you to be, or to try to fit in and be accepted by other people. If they can't accept you, that's not your problem. It's not. And we have to learn to be immune to that. That's the only way we're going to change things. We have to be, as Gandhi said, the change that we hope to see, or want to see in this world. And I agree. Not that everything that Gandhi did was wonderful or great, but that could be said about almost everybody, with only a handful of exceptions based on the literature that we have of their lives. He did do a lot of very big things, great things. He helped to free an entire nation from tyranny in his day, and he did it at great cost to himself, as you probably already know. So, and I reverence a lot of the wisdom that came from India. And we have two major world religions that are still practiced, that are older than Christianity, that came from that area. So they deserve the respect that was literally snatched away from them, their history rewritten by some from the West, as they often do. And we need to put into practice the things that we ourselves hope to see as a, overall world reality. That's the only way it's going to change. So I just want to leave that in there. I'll go ahead and post this as a short, and then we'll go ahead and get into the readings for this week, okay? All right. God bless. Take care. Stay victorious out there, everybody. Take care.